Hey guys, it's Cameron with VOD 3. I'm here with Alex. Alex, what's your job on this show today?
In this show, I am the production manager.
In this video today, we're just going to talk about audio. So I've got a few questions I want to ask Alex about what we're doing with audio today. So first question is on audio, how did you know, what did you ask the client that helped you determine what we needed to bring with us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing we found out was the venue. And so we knew it was arena. We knew we needed a whole lot of speakers to cover not only wide, but also deep. And then I started asking questions about how many presenters do you have? On this show, we've got 4 MCs, but we also have some people presenting some competition stuff. So I knew we needed multiple mics. We ended up with 8. And so that's what we ended up there. And then it gets into, do you need walk-up music? Do you have a bunch of videos and different things like that? So that helps us decide what console is also going to come. And so between all of that information gathering, we can put together a quote and get you a killer sound system.
Okay, that's great. So this is a big conference. There's also breakouts. What are we doing in here in the big room that's different than in the small rooms in the breakouts?
Yeah, so what you'll see in here in regards to when you're looking at your quote, you're going to see things like a large flown sound system, which you're seeing behind us. You're going to see a 32 channel console, 8 channels of wireless. But then we move over into the breakouts. Obviously the rooms are a little smaller, and so it's gonna adjust around. You're gonna see things like an 8 channel console. We don't need that many, we don't need 32. You're gonna see things like fill speakers or powered speakers on the quote, and those are there's gonna be 2 or 4 of them depending on what the layout of the room. And that is what you're gonna see on the quote, and that's gonna be the difference between the two. Both places are going to have even coverage for everybody in the room. It just looks different because the size and the attendance in the rooms are different.
Okay, that's great. So let's say I'm an event planner and I'm in the early stages of planning and I don't really know everything yet. What are the fundamentals? What do you need to know to be able to make the quote so that they know what their budget needs to be when it comes to audio?
Yeah, so some good things to know. Size of your room is good, and it can be rough and you don't have to be down to the inch. The amount of attendees you're gonna have, because the sound system looks drastically different for 100 people to 3,000. And then things like how many presenters are you gonna have? If you're gonna have a panel, how many people are on that panel at one time, because we have to have that many mics. And then other things regarding content of, do you have video content that you're going to be playing throughout that's going to require some audio and things like that. That's kind of the biggest things that you need to know, and then we can pull it all together from there.
So we get to meet a lot of event planners, and when they think about audio, a lot of times they think about microphones. How many do I need? I don't want to have too many, I don't want to waste budget, but I want to make sure I have enough. This show's tomorrow. How are you confident right now that you worked with our client? How are you confident that you've got enough, but you're also being responsible with the budget?
Your message is the most important point of your event, and it's got to come across, and without audio, it's not heard. And so I look through things like run of shows and talking with clients about how many presenters there are and knowing if I can space out microphones and things like that to make it all work. And I try and do it to save on budget with as little as I can, while still feeling like we're gonna have a flawless show and pull it together, and there's not gonna be any weird transitions.
Well, thanks, Alex, for talking about audio. I know it's important to you. If you're watching this, maybe one day you'd be working with Alex as your production manager. Alex, I'd be curious, what would you say to folks that may be your client one day working with the VOD 3?
Yeah, well, I know what my techs would tell me. They'd always say more budget and more time, but that's not what I'll say. The biggest thing is I would look forward the most to being able to serve you on the biggest day of your year, and to just pull everything together to make something amazing and get your message across to your audience.
That's awesome. Thanks, Alex. Again, this is Alex. I'm Cameron with the VOD 3. Thanks for watching.